Hey everyone, Alex here from WarrenOffKeys.com, and in this video I'm going to show you a fairly simple concept, but a concept that is going to greatly help testing when it comes to features that require users to join or leave your server. So instead of grabbing a friend or an alt account, you can just simply run one single command to simulate a join for your own user or simulate a leave for your own user without actually joining or leaving. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my features folder and my sub features folder. And if you're not using the SimExec file structure from the series, then keep in mind that these will automatically be imported and ran. So for your own code, you will have to then manually import and run this function. Within here, I'm going to make a new file. This will be called join test.js. It's going to export a function with module exports that has one parameter, which is the client. And within here, we're wanting to simply listen for joins and leaves and then console log that user ID. That way we can see that our simulated joins and leaves actually work. We could say client.on guild member add. We could then have access to a member parameter. And then we can console log with a template literal. We can insert in member.id has joined the server. We can then copy this event listener, and below it we can paste. And instead of guild member add, we want guild member leave. Instead of has joined the server, has left the server. I'm going to go ahead and save this, and then I'm going to make two commands. One is going to be actually simulating a join. The other one is going to be simulating a leave. I'm going to be using the Commando framework for this. However, if you're using a different command system, feel free to use that one. These are very simple commands, so if you're not familiar with Commando, no worries at all. I'm going to go into my commands folder. I'm actually going to make a new folder for this called testing. And this is going to be something that's Commando specific. We then have to register this folder as a group within Commando. So if you're not using Commando, feel free to use the YouTube player to skip to the next section whenever we actually create our join simulation. I can scroll down to the index file, and this is called testing. When I scroll down, we can see that we're registering a bunch of groups. I'm going to add another group called testing, which is going to be commands to test, joining, and leaving. I can then save this, and within the testing folder, I'm going to make a new file called SimJoin for simulate join. Within here, we're going to export a class. This class has to extend commando.command, which means we then have to import that. So const commando equals require discord.js-commando, and then we have to export a class. So module.exports is going to be a class. We can call this SimJoin. This is going to extend commando.command. Now within here, we'll need a constructor function. This is going to allow us to actually set up our command. This will have one parameter, which is the client. And within here, we have to call the constructor function for the command class, which we're extending. And in order to do that, we have to call the super function, which takes in two arguments. The first one is the client, which we already have access to. The second one is going to be an object, which will contain some information about this command, such as the name, which is just going to be SimJoin. We can then specify the commando group, which will be testing, because that's the group we registered to the testing folder, which we're inside of. We can have member name, which is the name of this command in regards to the testing group. I'm just going to keep this as SimJoin as well. We can then have user permissions. This is going to be an array of strings for what permissions the user has to have in order to run this command. I'm going to be specifying administrator, and while administrators have access to all commands, this is going to basically just prevent anyone who is not an administrator from running this. I can add in a description, which will be simulates a join, and then we can add in a run method. This method is going to have one argument, which is just a message. We now need to access the client, and because we are within a class, we can use this.client in order to access it in the Commando specifically, and we need to emit an actual event. So we can use .emit, and then we can pass in the name of our event, which is guild member add, and then the second parameter is going to be the actual member that we want. We can say message.member. So essentially, this is going to simulate the event whenever someone joins the server using the command sender. So if I were to run this, it would say that I joined the server. I can go ahead and save this. So going into our console, we can run this with node index.js, or you can use nodemon to make it so whenever you change your code, the bot automatically restarts. I can then drag Discord into here, and we see that our tutorial is online and I am here as well. So I'm going to do !simjoin. Nothing actually happens because we're not replying or anything like that. But if we go into the console, we then see some errors regarding other features within its bot. We can ignore those, but we do see this user ID has joined the server, this ends in 7152, and if I copy my own user ID, I paste it here, we see that this ends in 7152. So if you were to have some type of welcome channel, you would then see a message for the welcome channel there. I actually do have this command on the Worn Off Keys Discord server, so if I go into my tutorial channel, I can then do !SimJoin, and it's then going to welcome me to the server right here. So this is the same exact concept. You can go ahead and delete this. And by the way, if you want to join the Worn Off Keys Discord server, the link to that will be in the pinned comments and the video description. It's great for asking for help with your code. We have a lot of people trying to help each other out here. And going back into VS Code, we can now make a new file called SimLeave.js. I'm essentially going to copy the existing code into SimLeave. The name can be changed to SimLeave. The class name can also be changed to SimLeave. And here as well, instead of simulates a join, we're going to say simulates a leave. And then instead of guild member add, we're going to add in guild member leave, which is the name of the actual event, which we're listening for right here. We can then save this, and NodeMon should automatically restart our server as we see right here. Going back into here, we could then say !SimLeave, and we then see the ID has left the server. So if you were to have a leave log channel, this would then send a message in there. And so this is a very simple concept. However, it makes it much easier when testing features that require certain members to join or leave. You no longer have to reach out to a friend or reach for an alt in order to test those features. Thanks for watching this Discord.js tutorial. If you want to learn more about Discord.js, consider clicking on the playlist you see on your screen now. If you need help, feel free to leave a comment or ask in the Worn Off Keys Discord, which can be found in the video description.